Energetic music fades in, the camera zooms in on the stage as the audience anticipates the show's beginning. Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to the 69th Annual Golden Globe Awards, broadcasting live from the luxurious Starfield International Ballroom at the world-renowned Beverly Hilton Hotel in Los Angeles. This iconic venue has witnessed countless historic moments in Hollywood, and tonight we add yet another chapter to its legacy. It's truly an honor to be here this evening. I'm Ricky Gervais, your host for the night, and I can't express how thrilled I am to share this special occasion with you all. Tonight, we're here to celebrate the pinnacle of both cinema and television, the triumphs, the groundbreaking performances, and yes, even the delightful chaos that makes Hollywood so endlessly fascinating. Let's face it, folks, you're watching a show where the most coveted thing is a golden trophy, and the second most important thing, well, it's making sure you look your absolute best while clutching that shiny statuette. After all, it's the one night of the year where a designer gown or a tuxedo can make as much of a statement as the work itself. For those of you who may not be familiar with the Golden Globes, let me give you a quick breakdown. The Golden Globe Awards are often considered the Oscars' slightly wilder, more unpredictable cousin. While the Academy Awards are the gold standard of Hollywood honors, the Golden Globes have a unique charm of their own. Imagine the Oscars as the Queen of England, elegant, dignified, and poised, and the Golden Globes, well, they're more like Kim Kardashian to Kate Middleton. A little louder, a bit more ostentatious, definitely more festive, and let's be honest, much more likely to feature a moment of controversy, or, at the very least, an awkward yet entertaining slip-up. And that's part of their charm, right? The Golden Globes have become renowned for their unpredictability and the often candid, and occasionally inappropriate, remarks that fly in every direction. In fact, the Hollywood Foreign Press Association, which is responsible for voting on the awards, is made up of just over 90 international journalists from 55 different countries. They cast their votes across film and television categories, but unlike the Oscars, which typically only honor motion pictures, the Golden Globes recognize both film and television achievements. It's a celebration of the broad landscape of entertainment, acknowledging talent across multiple platforms. Now I should clarify, when I say the Golden Globes are a bit louder, I'm not just referring to the personalities or the alcohol consumption, though let's be real, the champagne flows freely. The Golden Globes have a history of being the more casual of the two events, with nominees sitting at round tables, able to mingle and enjoy the show from a more relaxed setting. It's been the source of some legendary moments over the years. Just last year, for example, Ricky Gervais himself was at the center of one of the most memorable nights in Golden Globe history, delivering his signature brand of sharp, biting humor that made waves across social media and the entertainment world. And speaking of awards, let's take a quick look at the numbers that make the Golden Globes such a significant event in Hollywood. The first Golden Globe Awards ceremony took place in 1944, making this the 69th edition. In that time, we've witnessed some extraordinary shifts in the entertainment industry. The Golden Globes have been ahead of the curve in recognizing both emerging talent and groundbreaking films. Remember, it was here at the Golden Globes that we saw La La Land take home Best Motion Picture, Musical or Comedy in 2017, setting the stage for its Oscar wins that year. And just like the Oscars, the Golden Globes are often seen as a precursor to what's to come at the Academy Awards. A study of the past 20 years shows that approximately 70% of the Golden Globe winners for Best Motion Picture in the drama category go on to win the Academy Award for Best Picture. That's a pretty impressive track record. Not to mention, the Golden Globes also serve as a launchpad for performances that go on to dominate the industry. Think of it, The Revenant, The Social Network, The King's Speech, all of these films were Golden Globe winners before they became Oscar champions. But let's not get lost in statistics, though as you can see, there's quite a bit of history behind this night. I would be remiss not to mention that the Golden Globes are also often associated with a fair share of controversy. The night always seems to bring out some memorable moments, whether it's a winner's passionate speech or a presenter's unfiltered joke that leaves the audience laughing or cringing. Some of the most talked about moments from past ceremonies have been sparked by presenters like Gervais, who have a reputation for pushing the boundaries and making sure no one leaves the event without having something to talk about the next day. And to be completely honest, that's the beauty of the Golden Globes. It's where anything can happen. The Golden Globes are unpredictable, spontaneous, and sometimes they take the limelight away from the awards themselves. It's a night where the suits, the stars, and the screenwriters all get to let their hair down, to toast to the work they've done, and to laugh at the ridiculousness of it all. It's the ultimate celebration of not just the best in film and television, but of the entertainment industry as a whole, with all of its flaws and glory laid bare. So as we begin tonight's festivities, remember, you're in for a night of glitz, glamour, and possibly more than a little mischief. But isn't that what makes the Golden Globes such a delight? The awards, the stars, and of course, the wonderful, unexpected moments that we'll all be talking about for years to come. In fact, who really needs the Oscars? Certainly not me, and definitely not Eddie Murphy. Remember when he walked out of the Oscars? That was one of the boldest moves in Hollywood. He was nominated for Dreamgirls in 2007, and when he didn't win, he said goodbye to the Academy Awards, much to the shock of the industry. But you've got to respect a man who takes such a stand, right? He knew what he wanted and wasn't afraid to walk away. Good for him. When a man who said yes to Norbit says no to the Academy, you know they've hit a real bump in the road. Now, Eddie Murphy is a guy with many talents. He's a comedian, a producer, a singer, and of course a very successful actor. He's got versatility. The man can transform into almost anyone, from his iconic Beverly Hills Cop role as Axel Foley to playing multiple characters in The Nutty Professor, and even voicing the beloved donkey in Shrek. Talk about a diverse career. Speaking of versatility, here's a fun fact for you all. Did you know that Eddie Murphy and Adam Sandler, between the two of them, played literally every single part in The Help? Yes, I'm not making this up. They were both brilliant in their own right, but I think it would have been a totally different movie if either one of them was in the leading roles. Imagine Adam Sandler as a housemaid in 1960s Mississippi. Now that's a movie I'd pay to see. But where are they tonight? Maybe they're here, lurking in the shadows. You know how these guys are, masters of disguise. We'll probably find out later that they've been sitting next to us this whole time. Now, before we get this show on the road, I should mention that the Hollywood Foreign Press has given me a list of very specific guidelines. They've warned me that if I offend anyone tonight or cause a single ounce of controversy, they'll definitely invite me back next year. So I'm going to make sure I follow the rules, or at least try to. But just to give you a little peek behind the curtain, let me share some of the guidelines with you. Here's what they told me. No profanity, easy enough. I've got a pretty wide vocabulary. In fact, I've got so many words to choose from I could probably write a dictionary. But in the spirit of the Golden Globes, we'll keep it family-friendly. No nudity, well, that's a shame, really. I mean, I've got an excellent vocabulary, but I also have a, shall we say, tiny, well, you get the idea. Don't worry about it, though. It works just fine. Moving on. No smut, no innuendo. Well, that's going to be hard. You've got a room full of actors, directors, and writers. I'm sure there's some innuendo floating around, but I'll do my best to keep it PG. And of course, no talking about Mel Gibson this year. Not his personal life, not his politics, and absolutely not his recent films. I'm afraid we won't be diving into his infamous apocalypto discussion or getting into any of the wild stories surrounding him. And this one's important, no mention of Jodie Foster's, let's call it her special project. You know, the one she worked on that some people found, well, controversial. I haven't seen it myself, but word on the street is that it's not exactly what it seems. You know how it goes. There's always that one project that raises eyebrows, and in Hollywood, you never know what you'll get. But hey, who am I to judge? This is the land of artistic freedom, where everyone's vision is allowed to shine, even if it involves, shall we say, a little bit of creative risk-taking. After all, this is the place where The Room was made, and yet Tommy Wiseau is somehow a cult hero. So I'll leave the judgment to you all. 2 minutes into the show, after some light-hearted jokes and audience engagement, Ricky shifts the tone slightly, introducing an intriguing point. Now, to put this in perspective, let's look at the numbers and history behind the Golden Globes to show just how much impact this event truly has. The first Golden Globe ceremony took place back in 1944, and since then, it's become one of the most significant awards shows in TV industry, despite its more relaxed atmosphere compared to the Oscars. While the Oscars may have a more refined reputation, the Golden Globes hold their own when it comes to predicting future Academy Award winners. In fact, 70% of Golden Globe winners for Best Motion Picture, drama over the past 2 decades have gone on to win the Academy Award for Best Picture. That's a pretty solid track record. And let's not forget the influence of the Golden Globes on television as well. Many actors, including iconic figures like Ricky Gervais, have seen their careers thrive after being part of this event. You only need to look at the likes of The Crown, which won Best Television Series, Drama in 2017, to see how powerful the Golden Globes can be in launching shows into the mainstream. So while the Golden Globes may not always carry the same weight as the Oscars, they are certainly a force in the entertainment industry, serving as a launchpad for both emerging talent and groundbreaking projects. The night is a celebration of more than just awards. It's a celebration of everything that makes the entertainment industry so unpredictable and thrilling, from the stars who grace the stage to the moments of pure, unfiltered chaos that only a show like this can deliver. Now, it's been quite a year in the world of entertainment, and let's just say, it hasn't all been sunshine and rainbows. Seriously, what is with all these divorces? Arnold Schwarzenegger and Maria Shriver, JLo and Mark Anthony, and don't even get me started on Kim Kardashian's marriage. 72 days, that's right, 72 days. Can you even imagine? I've sat through longer acceptance speeches by James Cameron than that. And yet somehow that was considered a long-term relationship in Hollywood. But let's be honest, this is the same town that thrives on the idea of quick fixes and quick exits. So no big surprise there, right? Now in Kim Kardashian's case, this 72-day marriage to Chris Humphries made headlines, and it set a record for one of the shortest celebrity marriages in recent history. But it also solidified the idea that in Hollywood, time can move at a different pace, relationships, careers, and scandals alike. In fact, some of the biggest names in Hollywood have had marriages that didn't quite make it to the finish line. Let's not forget the legendary Elizabeth Taylor, who, in her lifetime, was married a total of 8 times. And that's just one example of how celebrity culture tends to offer a completely different timeline for relationships. But let's move on from the personal drama. There was certainly another big scandal that stole headlines this year: Justin Bieber. Remember that paternity test drama? This kid nearly had to take a paternity test to prove he wasn't the father of some woman's child. Imagine how entertaining that would have been. If it had happened, it would have probably been a much bigger story than the original "Who's the Father" claim. We all know he's not the father. Come on, the only way Bieber could have gotten anyone pregnant is if he borrowed one of Martha Stewart's turkey basters. It was an incredibly bizarre saga, but at least it gave us something to laugh about. And I guess that's the power of social media. You can turn any weird situation into a trending topic. But let's not dwell on the scandals, because honestly, we're here for the good stuff, the work, the art, and the moments that... I'll admit I love the Hollywood foreign press. They might be a bit unpredictable. Let's face it, they've handed out some eyebrow-raising awards in the past, but they're good sports for having me back year after year. And here's something you might not know: they actually do an incredible amount of charitable work. As a nonprofit organization, much like NBC, they've supported numerous causes and charitable foundations over the years. In fact, the Hollywood Foreign Press Association has donated millions of dollars to various charitable organizations, particularly those that support humanitarian efforts in the entertainment industry. This year alone, they pledged $3 million to various causes, from educational scholarships to programs that support struggling film and television communities. They may get a bit of flack in Hollywood, but their impact on charity is undeniable. Seriously, they're doing some amazing things behind the scenes, so we can all be grateful for that. Now let's move on to the fun part, shall we? Last year, we kicked off the ceremony with one of the biggest movie stars on the planet. But after I insulted his film The Tourist, which, by the way, grossed over $278 million worldwide, despite mixed reviews, his career seemed to take a nosedive. That's the power of a Ricky Gervais punchline. His career was hit so hard, in fact, that he was forced to come work with me on my new show, Life Too Short, which, by the way, premieres on HBO on February 19th. Now, for those of you who haven't seen it, Life Too Short is a mockumentary-style comedy that follows the fictionalized version of Warwick Davis, a small-statured actor known for his roles in Harry Potter and Willow. It's full of awkward encounters, celebrity cameos, and absurd moments, and trust me, it's worth tuning in for. But enough about that, let's move on. Let's welcome the man who will swear to anything Tim Burton tells him to do, Johnny Depp, the man who once agreed to wear a ridiculous hat, a pirate costume, and a wig full of beads in Pirates of the Caribbean, only to become one of the highest-paid actors in Hollywood history. He's amassed a staggering $400 million in career earnings as of last year, and his portrayal of Captain Jack Sparrow remains one of the most iconic performances in film history. A quick note: Pirates of the Caribbean, The Curse of the Black Pearl, the first film in the series, was made on a budget of $140 million and went on to gross over $654 million worldwide. That's what I call a serious return on investment. Music plays as Johnny Depp walks on stage. The crowd erupts in applause. Before you go, Johnny, just one quick question. Honestly, what are you on right now? Drugs? Just kidding. No. But seriously, have you seen The Tourist yet? Johnny Depp looks at him, deadpan, and the crowd holds their breath in anticipation. Johnny Depp. No. The crowd laughs. Ricky pauses, letting the moment sink in. Ricky Gervais. Well, that answers my question. Now we know why it didn't do as well as it could have. More laughter. A few minutes later, Ricky builds up to a call to action that directly invites audience interaction and retention. The tone shifts to a more engaging, conversational style.